Welcome to the Shreveport Connection. My name is Tommy, if you didn't know. Well, this weekend we had the NXT TakeOver on Saturday night and, of course, SummerSlam on Sunday. And here's the results from the NXT TakeOver from Brooklyn. Kickoff show opened up with Renee Young, Lita, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton live from the Barclays Center. They hyped the show. Renee gives a shout out to Beyonce for letting them hang out in the Barclays Center. Saxon points out that Beyonce has nothing to do with the arena anymore, and they all knock him for ruining the fun. Then we see Kevin Owens making his way through the backstage area. Then we get a hype video for Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin. Joe is backstage and says the only thing he's concerned for is Corbin because Joe's going to beat him down and put him to sleep. Then we get hype for tonight's matches, including the debut of Apollo Crews. Then we see Bayley and NXT champion Sasha Banks arriving to the arena as we get a video package for their match. Greg Hamilton and Dasha Fuentes were outside with a bunch of rowdy fans. We come back for discussion on the NXT tag title match as Lita teases that she may help the Vaudevillains. We see a truck pull up outside, and out comes Neville and the NXT champion Finn Balor. Cesaro walks over and greets them before they all head into the arena. We get more hype for the show for Saturday night. And finally, the main event. Saxon goes on to predict Balor. Lita picks Owens, and Graves picks Owens also. That's it for the pre-show. And your NXT TakeOver starts with Triple H in the ring. He cuts a promo on NXT being the future and gets a big pop for the We Are NXT yell. First match, you got Tyler Breeze versus Jushin Thunder Liger. We come right back to the arena, and out come some of the new NXT divas dressed in costumes. One is Lady Liberty. While a rap song plays, the music stops and Tyler Breeze's entrance begins. He joins the costume divas on the ramp before making his way to the ring by himself. Rich Brennan, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton on commentary for the first match. Or it might be the whole NXT TakeOver. Wrestling legend Jushin Thunder Liger is out next to a pop. The crowd is hot as they lock up. Breeze drops Liger with a shoulder and poses on the top turnbuckle for a pop. Breeze with a headlock. Liger tips him and drops an elbow. Liger poses on top of the turnbuckle and mocks Breeze to an even bigger pop. They end up on the mat and Liger applies a modified surfboard stretch. Breeze gets up but misses in the corner and gets a kick in the gut. Liger with a surfboard. Liger launches Breeze onto his face and picks up the selfie stick. Liger takes some selfies to a pop from the camera. Liger turns around with chops. Breeze blocks a Liger bomb and drops him with a supermodel kick for a 2 count. Breeze with kicks to the corner now. Breeze with a leg drop and a 2 count. Breeze keeps Liger grounded as Liger fights up, but Breeze drops him with knees for another 2 count. Breeze then taunts Liger and drops the knee for another 2 count. Breeze then takes Liger back to the mat, and Liger fights back, tosses Breeze to the mat. Liger catches his breath in the corner and back drops Breeze to the apron. Breeze comes back in, but Liger hits a rolling kick in the corner. Liger with a tilt-the-world backbreaker. Liger goes up to the top and lands on his knees. Breeze with a takedown for a 2 count. Breeze delivers more strikes in the corner as the referee warns him. Breeze yells at the referee, leading to Liger dropping him with a palm strike. Breeze then ends up on the floor, and Liger nails a somersault plancha from the apron. Liger brings it back in the ring and hits another strike. Liger nails a Liger bomb for the win. After the match, Liger bows to the crowd as they show replays. Then we see Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Sean Waltman sitting at ringside as they get big pops. Bayley is shown as she also gets a pop. Charlotte hugs her while Becky Lynch shakes her hand. Then we go to Vignettes for Nia Jax, who is coming up next. NXT Tag Team title match up next. Vaudevillains versus Blake and Murphy. We go to the ring. Out comes Aiden English and Simon Gotch to a pop. They're dressed in blue. NXT Tag Team Champions Blake and Murphy were out next with Alexa Bliss. Bliss takes a mic and taunts them for not being able to find anyone. Fans start chanting for Blue Pants as out she comes to a big pop. Fan chant, "This is awesome" in Blue Pants City as we start the match. Gotch starts off with Blake as the trade holds. Gotch with a 2 count. Gotch with a counter in the corner and then an arm bar. More back and forth action until Gotch goes back to the arm. English tags in and hits a running kick to the face for a 2 count. English takes back Blake to the mat. And Murphy comes in for some double teaming, but English turns it around on them. English flexes and goes back to working on the arm. English gets knocked from the apron and hits the floor. Blake comes back in and brings English in for a 2 count. More tags by the champions as they keep English down in the corner. Blake and Murphy end up running into each other. And Gotch gets a hot tag. He unloads them both. But Murphy is a legal man. English comes back in and they double team him up top. They go for a double superplex, but Gotch comes in to a power bomb. Into power bomb them both to the mat. English hits the senton for a close 2 count. Bliss gets on the apron, but Blue Pants pulls her off and chases her around. Bliss kicks her away and comes in the ring. She goes to swing at Gotch in English, but Blue Pants comes in and tackles her. They brawl to the floor. Gotch gets rolled up from behind for a 2 count. They end up hitting the double team finisher for the win and the titles. So new tag team NXT champions, the Vaudevillains. After the match, the Vaudevillains celebrate with their titles and Blue Pants as fans cheer them on. Then we go to SummerSlam promo. We see the pre-show video of Finn Balor arriving. We see legendary music producer Rick Rubin at ringside for the show. Ty Dillinger versus Apollo Crews. We go to the ring. Out comes Perfect 10. Ty Dillinger, as he's named. Apollo Crews is out next. The former Uhaa Nation gets a big pop as he heads to the ring. They lock up and trade holds. Crews misses in the corner and Dillinger gets a 10 chant going. Crews turns a headlock around and shows up Dillinger getting his own 10 chant going. Crews with a nice drop kick. Dillinger kicks Crews and throws him to the apron. Crews goes to springboard in, but Dillinger drop kicks him out of midair. Dillinger then stomps away in a corner now. Dillinger gets a 2 count and a stomp. Dillinger stalks Crews and tries to tie him up with a sleeper. Crews goes to one knee but fights up and out. Crews pulls Dillinger on the shoulders in. He slides down. Crews with a 2 count. Dillinger drops him with a big kick for a 2 count. Dillinger goes right back to a pin for a 2 count. Dillinger keeps control and gets hit with a standing enziguri. Crews fights back and hits a clothesline. Crews to the splasher corner. Crews keeps control and gets hyped up. Crews presses Dillinger and drops him before hitting the standing moonsault for the win. After the match, Crews hits the turnbuckles to celebrate his birthday win and says NXT is his house. We go to replays. And we see William Regal, and he announces the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic that will begin in a few weeks on September 2nd. NXT episode, the finals will be at the next TakeOver event on October 7th. Regal promised it will be full of action and will make Dusty proud. We get a vignette for the next match, Baron Corbin versus Samoa Joe. We go to the ring. Out comes Baron Corbin for his entrance and to a mixed reaction. Crowd gets hyped as they wait for Samoa Joe. Joe's gonna kill you. Well, they don't do that for him in NXT. He comes in with his new theme. They lock up and break. Baron misses and Joe tries to take him down by his arm. Corbin rams him into the corner. Joe grabs for the coquina clutch, but Corbin quickly scrambles to the floor to regroup. They argue on the floor, but the referee is between them. They come back in, and Corbin strikes with a kick and a forearm. Joe turns it around and drop kicks Corbin over the top. Fan chant for Joe as he goes for the suicide dive, but Corbin makes him meets him with a forearm. Corbin with another shot before taunting the crowd. Corbin comes in with a quick splash in the corner for a 2 count. Joe starts to fight back and more offense from Corbin. Joe rolls Corbin up for a 2 count and turns it into a half Boston crab. Joe goes into the crossface next. Corbin counters for the bottom rope, goes for the bottom rope, but Joe pulls his arm back. Corbin gets to his feet, gets his foot on the bottom rope, and Joe finally breaks a hold. Corbin dumps Joe to the floor. Corbin runs the apron, but Joe chops his leg out and throws him into the barrier. Joe brings the fight back in, but Corbin puts him in a heel hook submission. Joe tries for the bottom rope and finally makes it. Corbin takes 4 seconds to break the hold, and Joe sells the knee injury. Joe with a big chop. Corbin catches him in a side step for a 2 count. More back and forth action. Joe drops Corbin with an enziguri right after Corbin hit a solid kick. Joe gets up first and rocks him with a right hand and a strike. Corbin fights back and they trade shots. Joe with an open hand slap. More strikes. Joe goes for the muscle buster in the corner. Corbin with a kick and a suplex for a 2 count. And Corbin stomps away in the corner. Corbin with right hands in the corner. Corbin poses. The fans boo him. Joe blocks the end of days finisher and applies a coquina clutch. Corbin ends up slamming him by his neck for a 2 count. Joe rolls into the coquina clutch again, but Corbin tries to fight out. Corbin passes out, and the referee calls for the bell. After the bell, Corbin is upset with the referee as he comes to. We go to replays, and Joe has his hand raised. Joe makes his exit as Corbin looks on. Then we see Ric Flair, Sergeant Slaughter, and Japanese women's wrestler Kana sitting at ringside. We also see Tamina Snuka and Naomi watching from the crowd. We go to the ring. Out comes Stephanie McMahon. She says, "This is cool and we're making history." She says she called for the Divas Revolution on Raw a few weeks ago, but the revolution really started in NXT. She agrees with Triple H that you don't put the NXT Divas in the main event. They are the main event. She announces this as one of tonight's main events as we go to a video package. And we get Bayley versus Sasha for the women's title. We go to the ring. Out comes Bayley to a pop. She's wearing polka dots on her gear as a tribute to Dusty Rhodes. The NXT champion, Sasha Banks, the boss, was out to another pop. She makes her entrance from the Cadillac Escalade that pulls in beside the stage. Personal security in all black surrounded her as she heads to the ring. 2 of them lift her up onto the apron as Bayley looks on. We get 4 more ring introductions from Greg Hamilton. They meet in the middle of the ring and they have words. Bayley tackles Sasha as she runs her mouth and brawls on the mat. Bayley with an early pin attempt. The crowd is very hot for this one early on. Sasha slams Bayley's face into the turnbuckles, but she shakes it off and turns it around. Bayley ties Sasha upside down in the corner and hits a running springboard elbow drop for a 2 count. Sasha with a 2 count herself. Sasha with a kick to the gut as we get dueling chest for Sasha. Bayley counters a move out of the corner. Sasha rolls to the floor for a breather. Bayley goes after her on the floor and drop kicks Sasha from around the ring post. Sasha lays Bayley on the second rope, but Bayley escapes the apron. Sasha brings her up for a superplex, but Bayley fights her off. Sasha kicks the knee out, and Bayley falls out to the floor. Bayley comes back in, but Sasha beats her down. Sasha delivers an elbow to the back and a smack to the face for a 2 count. Bayley tries to fight back, but Sasha keeps control. Sasha keeps Bayley grounded. As Bayley fights back out of the corner, Sasha goes for double knees, but it's blocked. Again, Sasha hits the double knees in the corner, but does it with Bayley on the top rope instead of the middle rope. Sasha gets another 2 count. Sasha talks trash in the corner as Bayley knocks her down. Bayley starts to make her come back, but Sasha throws her to the apron and she ends up back on the floor. Sasha follows and takes her hand brace off. Sasha brings it back in the ring and tosses Bayley right back to the floor. Sasha slams the hand into the steel steps. Sasha stomps on the hand now. Sasha kicks her hand in between the steps and now Bayley goes down. They wonder if Bayley's hand is broken. Sasha ends up leaping out onto Bayley for a big pop. Sasha brings it back in to This Is Awesome chance for a 2 count. Sasha then looks frustrated, but Bayley sends Sasha finally to the floor next. And then Sasha comes back in at an 8 count and trades shots from their knees. More back and forth action as Sasha blocks the Bayley to Bayley. More counters as Sasha slams Bayley and applies the bank statement to a pop. Bayley almost gets to the bottom rope, but Sasha pulls her back. Bayley reverses Sasha's own move for another big reaction. Sasha gets her foot on the bottom rope to break the pinfall. More offense for Bayley, and This Is Awesome chance again from the crowd. Bayley takes Sasha to the top, but Sasha knocks her to the mat. Bayley runs back in with a forearm. Bayley climbs back up, but gets dunked on her neck. Sasha jumps down with double knees, but Bayley kicks out at 2. More dueling chants from the crowd. Sasha takes Bayley to the top, but Bayley fights back with elbows. Sasha gets knocked to the mat, but comes back. More fighting up. Top between the two. Bayley nails a crazy modified Hurricane Rana, and Bayley to Bayley for the win and the new NXT Women's Divas Champion. After the match, we go to replays of the many highlights as Bayley celebrates and gets emotional. Becky Lynch and Charlotte hit the ring to celebrate with her. We get more replays and come back to Sasha getting up. She hugs Bayley to another big pop. Becky and Charlotte join in for a group hug as fans chant for NXT. They all raise their arms together and hold up the 4 horsemen 4 fingers as Bayley's music hits. We get a SummerSlam promo. World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins is shown at ringside with his girlfriend, NXT Diva Zara Schreiber. Her name is not shown on the screen. The announcers recap Triple H's announcement from earlier that we will see NXT debut in the UK this December. There will be a tour from December 10th through December 16th. Tickets go on sale August 28th. And he says it's something we will not want to miss. Then we get a vignette for tonight's main event from NXT title match. Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. The ladders are out. As Kevin Owens makes his way to the ring to a mixed reaction. But he definitely has fans in the crowd. Finn Balor was out next with another awesome demon entrance as Owens looks on from a chair. Former ring introductions as the title is raised above the ring. Yes, this is a ladder match. Owens saw Trish start out. And Finn unloads on him. Finn with a drop kick. Finn with a big chop. And back and forth action to the corners. They run the ropes and Owens drops Finn with an elbow. Owens with a senton. More back and forth as Owens hits the corner cannonball. They trade shots now as Olay chant starts up. They're going past 11 p.m. as their biggest night. As Balor hits the sling blade, Finn charges and Owens escapes to the floor. He goes for the ladder on the ramp as Finn nails him from behind. Finn brings the ladder back to the ring, but Owens falls. They do the tug of war for the ladder, and Owens uses it to ram Balor into the apron. Owens with another shot to the chest. Owens uses the ladder again and leans it up against Balor. He goes to run up it, but stops and just nails the right hand to the face for a big pop. Balor then nails Owens with a ladder on the floor. Balor with a forearm now as they fight around the ring. Balor tosses Owens over the barrier, but Owens pulls him over also. They fight near the crowd. Owens goes for the power bomb on the floor. Balor backdrops him over the barrier. Finn jumps off the barrier, but Owens catches him in the air and rams him into the barrier. Owens launches Balor a good distance and over the announcer table into the barrier. He takes off the top of the announcer table and tosses it at Finn's head. Owens stands on top of the announce table for a pop. Owens pulls a ladder from under the ring while Balor is still down. Owens turns around to Balor, drop kicking him off the top of the announce table. The ladder hits Owens and also falls on Balor. Fans chant, "Holy shit!" Fans chant for table as Balor rings a ladder back into the ring and looks up at the title. Owens pulls the ladder to the floor and Balor leaps out onto him. A big NXT chant starts. Balor stands a ladder up and goes for the title now. Owens grabs his leg and pulls him down. Owens pushes Balor face first into the ladder and it falls over. Owens then tosses Balor out of the ring and he goes. He sends Owens face first into the ladder and he's standing up in a corner. Balor goes across the ring to charge back, but Owens blasts out of the corner with a clothesline. Owens with another nasty ladder shot as we get dueling chants for the two. Owens jabs the ladder at Balor again and slams him on it. Owens hits the senton on the top of the ladder. Owens yells, poses, and looks up at the title, but is wasting time. Balor fights back. They trade shots. Owens goes for a powerbomb. Goes to powerbomb Balor on the ladder, but it's reversed and Owens lands on the ladder bad. Fans chant, "Holy crap" again. And Balor gets up first and positions the ladder. Owens pulls him down and shoves him into a ladder in the corner. Owens goes to do the cannonball into Balor and the ladder But Baylor moves and Owens cannonballs the ladder. Baylor with a drop kick. Baylor goes to the top and hits the coup de grace. Baylor positions under ladder and climbs. Owens grabs him and powerbombs him in front of the ladder. Owens climbs up, but Baylor tips the ladder over and Owens lands in the corner. Owens then rolls out of the corner after hitting hard against the turnbuckles. Finn goes for a ladder, but Owens pulls him to the floor. Owens goes for a powerbomb on the floor, but Finn jumps in the apron and kicks him in the face. Finn rolls through on a foot stomp from the apron. Owens nails a pop-up powerbomb on the apron. Owens makes it back in the ring first, climbs up for the title, but Baylor tips it over again. Owens lands on his feet and nails a kick to the jaw. Baylor hits the ladder hard on his way down. Owens tells Baylor to stay down and kicks him in the face again. Owens talks more trash and bridges the ladder from the bottom rope to the bottom rung of the ladder that's standing. Baylor gets up and Owens drags him up the ladder. Owens goes to suplex Baylor from up high on one side of the ladder on to the ladder bridge underneath. Finn fights him off and Owens falls back onto the ladder bridge. The back of his head hits hard as Finn looks on from the top of the ladder, but he's dazed. Finn reaches, but he's away from the belt. Owens comes up, but gets kicked back down. Finn still can't reach the belt. He looks around in anticipation of leaping out. Finn goes to the top of the ladder for a coup de grace on Owens. Finn repositions the ladder and then climbs back up and grabs the belt for the win. After the match, he poses on the top of the ladder with the NXT title as Owens tries to recover on the mat, and then we go to replays. We come back to Finn still celebrating on top of the ladder as TakeOver goes off the air. Okay. Now for backstage or at ringside, New Japan Pro Wrestling star Kazuchika Okada attended WWE SummerSlam on Sunday. Samoa Joe also tweeted a photo of the two of them inside a luxury box at Barclays Center on Sunday. I'll also post it in this video at the end. Also follow twitter.com/Samoa Joe. Okada was in town for the Ring of Honor live events that took place in Philadelphia and Brooklyn on Friday and Saturday. Joe and Okada were actually paired together in TNA back in 2011 with Okada playing Joe's sidekick, Okato. Things have definitely improved in the reigning IWGP Heavyweight Champion since then. Liv Tyler was also backstage at SummerSlam with Stephanie McMahon. I think I can post that picture as well. SummerSlam, Lily Garcia introduced the show host, Jon Stewart, who was already in the ring. They played to the crowd and they were ho-hum in their initial response and said the difference between WWE politics is that the WWE crew respects their audience. He ran through a list of wrestler names and the fans yelled, "What?" after most of them. They mostly cheered Seth Rollins and booed John Cena, then cheered Brock Lesnar and Undertaker. Both. Stewart says he's still angry about Lesnar ending the streak. He said he wanted to talk to Lesnar. He said he needed a good friend to serve as his backup. Stewart introduced Mick Foley, who headed to the ring for a good reaction as Michael Cole saw JBL and Jerry King Lawler on commentary. Foley did a bit talking about he couldn't hear Stewart during a phone conversation that thought Stewart wanted him to help him interview The Rock rather than The Brock. Foley said this conversation wouldn't be happening if he had known it was Brock. Stewart asked if the great Mick Foley is afraid of Lesnar. That's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm terrified of Brock Lesnar, Foley said. Stewart then brought up Foley being thrown off the Hell in a Cell structure by Undertaker. Foley said that was 17 years ago. He said that one place he hasn't gone is Suplex City. He said Stewart is on his own. Foley's entrance music played. It was nice to see Foley. I felt bad for Stewart. He's a legitimate pro wrestling fan, and he was a really nice get for WWE, but the live crowd didn't care to see him one bit. Probably doesn't help that some of the fans have been in the building for an hour and didn't get a match off the kickoff show. Match number 1 of SummerSlam, Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Bell rang. Sheamus went to ringside where he stood on the English-speaking broadcasting table while telling the crowd he doesn't look stupid. Orton went after him and returned to the ring. Sheamus gained control, performed a top rope knee drop for a 2 count. A cool move that should have meant more. The live crowd didn't really react, so it's early in the match, and even the broadcast team didn't give a crap about or love it either way. By the way, we've had some reports of network issues. As I'm reading the results, I didn't even see the first 3 matches because I had to work. Got off at 6 o'clock, hurried home. It was 6:30 when I got home. At least 6:30 when I got home. Catching all the crap and what have you. So the crowd was quiet while Sheamus was on offense, aside from singing the Olay song. They came live when Orton came back. Orton dumped Sheamus over the top, back in the ring. Orton did the hanging DDT with Sheamus on the top rope. Orton had a minor cut on his forehead. Sheamus went for a springboard shoulder block, but Orton hit him with an RKO at 9 minutes 45 seconds in, but Sheamus rolled out of the ring. 11 minutes 10 seconds in, Sheamus performed white noise for a 2 count. The fan chanted, "You look stupid." The guys at the house, according to a reporter, laughed and were wearing the Batman tank top with a gold chain for taking part in the chant. A short time later, Orton avoided the road kick, but Sheamus came back with 2 more and pinned Orton clean. And the match took 11 minutes 15 seconds out of our lives. Solid work from Orton and Sheamus, but nothing particular memorable in the match. Footage aired of 2 fans who won a contest enjoying SummerSlam weekend. New Day made their entrance and spoke as they walked to the ring, meaning no skip and clap. Fortunately, Big E shimmied while Xavier Woods spoke about how good they looked. Kofi Kingston said that he was going to teach New York about something called hop. He said New York doesn't know anything about it because it's originated in the South. Once in the ring, New Day and Jay-Z tried to fail to do what they were about to do. New Day took turns. Let's hear it for the New Day. To the tune of the Empire State of Mind song. New Day continued to be one of the most entertaining acts in pro wrestling today. So the match started. Primetime Player versus Kofi Kingston and Big E versus Lucha Dragons versus Los Matadors in a 4-way. Big E tried to pin Kofi, but it was broken up. No, that's not a typo. Kalisto performed some crowd-pleasing high spots early on. There was also a fun exchange with Kalisto and Darren Young that received a nice reaction. 6 minutes 15 seconds in, Big E had Young in a downward stretch while slapping his side to New Day rocks. Woods went off at ringside. Kingston tagged in and jumped off the top and came down, going first into Young's knee. Titus checked in and went on his usual offensive flurry. Titus destroyed all of his opponents for a big pop and then splashed Kofi and Fernando in the corner. Sin Cara checked in to the match and went for a suicide dive on Fernando, only to be caught with drop kicks to the gut. Woods then pushed Fernando off the ropes. Torito tried to dive onto him, but Woods caught him and slammed him at ringside. Woods gloated and then was dropped by Young on the apron. Big E performed his spear through the ropes that took him and Young to the floor. The crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Lucha Dragons had Diego on the ropes, but he fell to ringside. Fernando appeared to improvise quickly by going after both of them, then taking the Tower of Doom spot that his partner was supposed to take, with Titus underneath all 3 men. Titus hit his finisher on the Los Matadors member, but Kofi tagged in and stole the pin. New Day are your new tag team champions. Backstage, Stewart and his son Nate were hanging out with Neville and Stephen Amell. Stewart claimed to be tight with Taker. The lights went out and Taker walked through the camera shot and smoke followed. After Taker was out of the picture, Stewart had Amell sign his son's t-shirt and once again told him not to make it out to Nate. Footage of the recent events involving Rusev, Summer Rae, Dolph Ziggler, and Lana. Rusev for Summer Rae versus Dolph. Lana. Lana came out wearing a blue and white outfit. I'll show the picture and get on to the match. Well, Rusev performed a suplex and then followed up with a running senton that looked painful for Ziggler. Rusev got a 2 count and looked frustrated that he didn't put him away. Rusev dodged a kick and performed a sunset flip for a 2 count. Ziggler applied a sleeper at 8 minutes 55 seconds in. Rusev escaped, Then Ziggler caught Rusev with a famouser for a 2 count. Rusev came back with kicks and then worked over the back of Ziggler before applying the accolade in front of Lana. Summer went after Lana for Lord knows whatever reason, but Lana slapped her. Rusev broke the hold like a dope and jawed at Lana. After a network glitch, Lana and Summer were both lying on the ground. Ziggler caught Rusev with a super kick. Ziggler tried and failed to return to the ring to beat the count, so both men were counted out. There was a brief exchange with Lana getting the better of Summer Rae afterwards. Rusev fought to a double countout, 12 minutes, 5 seconds. Crowd rightfully booed the lame finish. Can't say I'm surprised with this continuing, as it may be going all the way up through October. Comic book style video package here of Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett. Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett. Barrett came out wearing Cosmic King shoulder pads. Awesome. Stardust added a black cape and wore a sleeveless bodysuit. Amell wore black shorts and black wrestling boots. After a brief exchange with Neville and Barrett, Stardust tagged in and immediately called for Amell, who springboarded his way to the ring. Stardust shoved Amell to the mat. Amell kicked up. Camera missed it live and kicked Stardust. Barrett checked in and ended up catching Amell with a boot to the gut. Barrett took the actor to his corner and tagged in Stardust, who put the boots to Amell before tagging Barrett back in. Barrett kicked Amell to ringside and distracted the ref while Stardust worked over Amell on the floor. Amell tags in Neville, who eventually performed a crazy flip off the second rope with both heels at ringside. Amell called for Neville, who tagged him in and let him dive onto both opponents off the top rope. Neville was tagged back in and performed the Red Arrow on Barrett for the win. The match took 7 minutes 40 seconds out of our lives. Not an Arrow viewer or even a comic book guy. I do love the good comic book movie. Amell looked like the novice that he is more often than not. But the live crowd was receptive throughout, particularly when he showed off his athleticism. The Neville move was essentially a reverse Phoenix splash off the second rope that actually impressed and awesome Red Arrow does. Perhaps because it's not something we see every time he wrestles. A fun celebrity match. Tough Enough finals were shown in the crowd. The final 4 video package aired of SummerSlam getting mainstream attention. Match number 5, Ryback versus Big Show versus Miz in triple threat for the Intercontinental title. Big Show performed a slow senton off the middle rope onto Ryback, clutched his back afterwards. Miz covered Ryback for a 2 count. Ryback performed his top rope splash onto Miz, but he stood up and chokeslammed him onto Miz and covered Ryback for a 2. Big Show went for the KO punch, but Ryback dodged it and performed Spine Buster. Ryback went for the meat hook clothesline, but Show dodged that. Ryback performed Shell Shock on Big Show. Miz performed Skull Crushing Finale on Ryback for a pop and got a 2 count. Miz took turns covering both men for 2 counts, got frustrated. Ryback had Miz up for the finisher, but Show punched him. Miz ended up taking a KO knockout punch. Ryback clotheslined Show over the top rope, then covered Miz for the win. The match took 5 minutes 40 seconds out of our lives. The crowd was into the near falls. They also liked Ryback. It's encouraging for Ryback. The New York crowd rallied behind him. Then again, they also cheered loudly when Miz performed his finisher for a 2 count. Quick and painless aside for Show's senton. Backstage, more Jon Stewart knocking on Brock Lesnar's door. Paul Heyman entered and told Stewart that now isn't really the time for the interview. Stewart said Heyman and Lesnar gave the fans coal on Christmas morning when Lesnar entered the street. Then asked what Heyman had to say about that. Heyman chanted, "Glory, glory, Brock Lesnar," and added, "I guess we couldn't get David Letterman to host the show, so..." Hey, that was a line on Monday Night Raw when they were teasing a certain someone making his first post-talk show hosting appearance. It was just me, or was it Stephen Amell, moreover, with a live crowd than the usually well-liked Jon Stewart so far. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus the Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Reigns and Ambrose jumped on to the quick and crowd-pleasing start. I was expecting interference from this match. Well, wait and see what happens. Wyatt cut off Reigns at ringside, slamming him onto the ring apron. Harper caught Reigns with a suicide dive. Ambrose followed with a dive of his own, but the heels caught him and ran him onto the ring apron. With Reigns down from being super kicked to ringside by Harper, Wyatt and Harper dominated Ambrose. Wyatt ripped Ambrose's shirt off and suplexed him on the floor. Harper caught Ambrose with a great big boot to the face. Harper catapulted Ambrose into the middle ropes. Crowd started chanting a loud Roman sleeping chant since he was at ringside so long. Reigns stumbled his way back to the corner just in time for Ambrose to make the tag. There was some boos as Reigns got the better of Harper. Ambrose was slowly getting to his feet when Reigns tagged in, and he performed a doomsday device on Wyatt, minus the flip. Harper went after Ambrose, but Reigns punched him, and they performed a double-team powerbomb on him. Wyatt got back to his feet and set up for his finisher, but Ambrose countered into Dirty D's. Reigns ended up spearing Wyatt and pinned him clean. Reigns and Ambrose defeated Bray and Luke Harper in 11 minutes 10 seconds. Somewhat surprised to see the match ended so decisively, particularly with Wyatt taking a clean pin. I guess I shouldn't be at this point simply because Wyatt is the guy who talks a lot and never backs up his words. It's a shame. The character is amazing, but he never gains any real momentum. A video package aired of John Cena narrating by talking about how great New York is, and footage aired of him and Seth Rollins. John Cena makes his entrance. It's the New York ass kicking in the video didn't help. The crowd still booed loudly, saying, "John Cena sucks," to his music. Cena looked at the front row on the same side as the hard camera and told somebody he is so happy that they made it and didn't know that they would be here. Rollins made his entrance wearing a white outfit, looked like the Power Ranger gimmick. Lillian Garcia handled the in-ring introductions. Next, we want to see Rollins ride a right horse for his WrestleMania 32 entrance, like he's a modern-day Double J. Match number 7, Seth Rollins versus John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship and the U.S. Championship. Rollins had the first impressive offense of the match, and it capped off with an impressive flip over the top rope onto Cena ringside. There was a loud "Let's go Rollins" chant. Cena came back with a shoulder block that was booed after some back and forth action. Cena came back and performed the top rope leg drop onto Rollins and got a 2 count. Rollins came back with a buckle bomb. Rollins also performed the frog splash. Cena hoisted him up into the attitude adjustment position and went for the move, but Rollins landed on his feet and caught Cena with a kick. Rollins then performed the attitude adjustment on Cena for a good near fall 12 minutes 45 seconds in. The crowd loved it. Rollins went up top and went for the Phoenix Splash. Cena moved and Rollins landed on his feet. Cena caught Rollins in the STF. Rollins reached the ropes and broke the hold quickly. Cena came back with a figure 4 in the mid-ring. The Nature Boy is going to be tied with his own move. JBL said Rollins rolled the figure 4 over to reverse it, but Cena reached the ropes and broke the hold. Cena went up top, then Rollins caught him with and superplexed him. Popped up, performed the Tiger Driver for a 2 count. Rollins performed the Phoenix Splash, but Cena moved. Cena hoisted him up for an attitude adjustment, but Rollins' legs bumped the referee. Well, referee bump. Everybody knows what happens in a referee bump. Screw job. You know how it goes. Cena performed the attitude adjustment, got the visual pinfall, but no count for the referee. 18 minutes in, Cena picked up Rollins, who caught him with a knee to the side of the head. Cena sold it like Rollins caught his own nose. Like Rollins caught his nose. I actually decided to fade. Jon Stewart ran out with a chair, tease hitting both guys. Stewart looked awkwardly and looked at Rollins and Cena, then jabbed Cena in the gut. So you got the screw job finish. Seth Rollins then pinned John Cena at 19 minutes 25 seconds in. Video aired of WWE Breaking Ground. The narrator said, "You like HBO's Hard Knocks? You love the show." They also plugged the Stone Cold podcast with guest Edge and Christian, as well as Swerve. The pre-show panels discussed the finish of the previous match, and there was a "Thank you, Stewart" chant from the crowd. Match number 8, Paige, Charlotte, Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Tamina versus Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, and Alicia Fox in a 3-way triple threat. Team Bad worked over Lynch. Charlotte speared Tamina on the floor. Sasha and Naomi performed flip dives onto Charlotte and Lynch. Sasha appeared to come up short. The Bellas held up their fingers and waited for a reaction. Then they performed dives on the floor. Fox was pushed off the second rope by Paige. Then Paige slowly flipped off the top rope onto all the women in the ringside. Back inside the ring, Brie Bella performed the second rope face buster on Tamina and pinned her at 6 minutes 40 seconds in, so Team Bad is eliminated. Brie held up her hand and smiled, but the live crowd just kind of sat there. Later, Nikki performed a wicked Alabama slam on Paige at ringside. Team Bella isolated Paige for the next few minutes. Paige and Alicia eventually fought her way and tagged in Charlotte. Charlotte performed chops on Alicia that draws a woos from the crowd. Charlotte put her finisher on Alicia, but Nikki broke it up only to be knocked to ringside by Paige. Charlotte and Alicia caught each other with big boots. Becky was tagged into the match and ended up performing a one-armed slam on Brie and pinning her. So the match took 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Usual storyline mess in terms of being impossible to figure out what Team Bella are supposed to be. Team Bella acted like babyfaces early on by playing to the crowd, but then they became the heels of the match while working over Paige. Not really sure. Brie jumped off the ring apron rather than taking a punch from Charlotte, so I guess she was a cowardly heel there. I hate the idea of Becky pinning Brie rather than pinning Nikki. Only thing I really wanted from this match was for it to serve as a logical setup for the title match. I'm guessing Becky will get one, but this felt pretty meaningless. More advertising for the video game, 2K16, and then the soda sponsor, Mountain Dew. Ring entrances for Kevin Owens versus Cesaro took place. Highlight there, the Finn Balor beating Owens at NXT TakeOver. Brooklyn. Coleslaw noted that Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac were at the NXT Live special, but were not at SummerSlam. Kevin Owens versus Cesaro. Owens stood at ringside and jawed at the broadcast team. During the opening minute. Cesaro performed a spinning plancha onto him. Owens came back and performed a cannonball on Cesaro, who was seated against the barricade. 5 minutes in, Owens performed a somersault into a leg drop onto Cesaro. 7 minutes 45 seconds in, Cesaro performed a gut-wrench suplex off the second rope for a 2 count. Owens performed a moonsault for 2. 10 minutes 45 seconds in, Cesaro performed a springboard twisting uppercut for another near fall. Owens went to ringside. Cesaro followed and caught him with a running uppercut and then rolled him back inside the ring. 11 minutes 40 seconds in did the Cesaro swing and then applied the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. Owens teased tapping out but crawled to the ropes to break the hold. A short time later, Owens crotched Cesaro on the top rope, then performed a fisherman's buster suplex off the middle rope and then followed up with a pop-up powerbomb for the win. And that match took 14 minutes 20 seconds. But the crowd seemed like they were into the match, but weren't very loud. So it seemed like the fans just sat back and watched the match while feeling content with whatever the outcome was to be. Commercial aired for the Night of Champions airing on September 20th. In a shocking development, Coleslaw called it one of his favorite events of the year because every title will be defended. Does that mean Rollins will defend both titles in one match or have 2 matches if he holds both title belts? I thought we might be getting some type of bonus segment. But with video packages and Taker's long entrance, it looks like they're going right to the main event. Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman versus Undertaker. As Taker was removing his hat in the ring, Lesnar attacks him. Taker fought back and caught Brock with a big boot and clotheslined him to ringside, then removed his trench coat, and Undertaker chant broke out. Once Brock returned to the ring, the bell rang to start officially the match. Taker got the better of the striking exchange with Lesnar. The crowd had dueling Undertaker and Suplex City chants. Taker went for old school on Lesnar, who pulled him down for the F5 position. Taker fought out of that, then grabbed Lesnar for a chokeslam, but Lesnar avoided it. Lesnar performed a belly-to-belly suplex at 1 minute 30 seconds in, then followed up with a German suplex. Suplex City, bitch, Lesnar said to Cheers. Brock then grabbed Taker from behind, so Taker fell forward and held Lesnar's hands, causing Lesnar's head to slam into the turnbuckle. Taker was in offensive control when they went to ringside. Lesnar was bleeding from the forehead. Yeah, he had a big cut on his forehead. Taker ran him into the edge of the ring, then performed his leg drop onto Brock, who was lying on the ring apron at 4 minutes 15 seconds in. JBL noted that it was Taker's first SummerSlam since 2008 and his first non-WrestleMania pay-per-view since 2010. The crowd chanted, "You've still got it" for Taker. 5 minutes in, Taker went for a chokeslam, but Lesnar avoided it, performed another German suplex. Lesnar performed another German suplex, and once again, Suplex City again. Biatch, and Taker struggled to get back to his feet. Once he did, Brock performed another German suplex. Taker took that one on his ass more than on his back. Lesnar smiled as he looked down at Taker, who rolled to ringside. Lesnar followed Taker to ringside as the fans started a dueling chance again. Briefly, Lesnar tore apart one of the foreign broadcast tables, but Taker caught him with a shot. Taker was setting up for a move when Lesnar recovered and performed an F5 that put Lesnar through one of the foreign broadcast tables. The crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Taker struggled to get back to his feet. Bloody face, Lesnar smiled, but Taker rolled in at the 9 count to beat the count. Lesnar used great facial expressions while struggling to get back to his feet. While Lesnar smiled and shuffled over him, Lesnar told Taker he would kill him. "You're going to have to," Taker responded. Taker chokeslams Lesnar. 10 minutes in, Taker performed a tombstone piledriver on Lesnar, then folded his arms up on top of him before going for the pin. Lesnar kicked out at 2. Brock sat up and laughed. Yeah, Undertaker style, Taker did his classic setup, then mocked the way Lesnar was laughing at him. Both of them did. Brock got pissed and they traded shots. Fans chanted, "This is awesome" again. Lesnar applied the Kimura lock and while standing on the second rope. JBL called for the ref to break the hold since they were in the ropes. Once Lesnar released the hold, Taker performed the last ride from that position for a good near fall. Clothesline question that what Taker has to hit Lesnar with to put him away, since he already hit him with a tombstone, a chokeslam, and a rice ride. Both men got to their feet. Lesnar caught Taker with a kick and an F5. Brock covered Taker for a near fall. Lesnar was back on his feet first. He waited for Taker to get up, then performed the third F5 of the match for another near fall. Lesnar expressed shock and frustration over not being able to put Taker away. Taker started coughing, and the broadcast team spoke about how he was hurt. Suddenly, Taker grabbed Lesnar's arm and put him in Hell's Gate. Lesnar escaped the hold, then rolled him over and applied the Kimura lock. Fans began clapping. Then Taker rolled Lesnar into pin position. Lesnar kicked out. The bell rang. He tapped Heyman yelled, but it was Heyman ringing the bell. Referee Charles Robinson walked over to the timekeeper and asked what the hell he was doing. Robinson said he was one count. He was a 1 count, and he was at 1 count, and he never called for the bell. Taker low blowed Lesnar. As the referee wasn't looking, and applied to Hell's Gate again. As Lesnar was in the hold, he flipped off Taker and then passed out, giving Taker the win. At 17 minutes and 20 seconds in, they announced that Taker won the match. After the match, a replay eventually showed that Taker clearly tapped out. Heyman eventually walked over to the timekeeper's area and rang the bell several times before yelling, "No, no, no!" He said Taker tapped out. Everyone saw it. Heyman proclaimed Lesnar the winner of the match. So we're getting Taker versus Lesnar again, presumably at WrestleMania in the rubber match of their most recent series of matches. The finish was a huge letdown to an otherwise highly entertaining match. The positive of the finish is that Lesnar lost in a way where he loses nothing since it was anything but a clean loss. The replay finish makes Taker look less than honorable. I know there's been a lot of fan speculation about him being a heel, but I just don't see how they could play it that way when he'll be such a big babyface in his home state of Texas at WrestleMania 32. And that concludes my SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver results for this month. Thanks again. Peace out. God bless you. Oh, and if you don't know, you want to call me, bro.